Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Hope everyone is well. Wait, hold on. My self monitoring is a little loud. Let's see there. That's a little better. All right. Let's see if anybody is out there on YouTube land. See if the stream is even working. I'm gonna pull up the stream on YouTube itself. See what I see. Thank you for being here, Jose. How you doing? Hope you are well. Oh, no worries, no worries. Hope you're having a fantastic night. Let me see here. How is everything in Cali? Oh my God. May the Lord give you lower taxes. Hallelujah. Because I know it's rough out there for the taxpayers. Most definitely. Right? All righty then. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of news. Apparently, there's been a very strong earthquake in Colombia. We're going to get into that. I made a thumbnail of the topics that we're going to discuss. Let me send. I gotta send something out. 1 second. One second, please. Alrighty then. See what's going on here. Very, very strong earthquake. I made a thumbnail. Let me see if I can find it. Of our top news. So this is what we're going to be discussing today. Strong Colombian quake. This is the Presidente talking to Marco Rubio, age being pledged. Instead, I almost said age being pledged. Aid being pledged. And, that's a sad situation, right? Because there's probably a lot of death. What I am waiting to see is how many of those houses were made by a bunch of basically Chinese corporations. We know the Chinese corporations have a very, very strong influence everywhere in South America where the left was strong, and the left was very strong in Colombia for many years, right? So I have suspicions. In fact, you guys want to ask Grok? Should I ask Grok about the how much how much of the good old basically close this window? How much of the construction was under. Let's talk to Grok. I know you guys like it when I talk to Grok a little bit. All right. Here, get this window here. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. What's on your mind?
I got a question for you. When it comes to Colombia's infrastructure and building, I want I want to know how many projects were announced in conjunction with China or Chinese entities. I know that Venezuela had a lot of Chinese entities pledging and managing and just aiding in construction, sending material. They had a lot of intermingling because of the left wing government in Venezuela. Had a lot to do with construction. I want to know how much Colombian constructions in Colombia's time was announced, pledged by China or by Colombia as being involved in joint ventures?
China's role in Colombia's infrastructure is more about commercial contracts and joint ventures than the big sovereign loans and state directed builds seen in Venezuela. A 2025 monitor counted 16 Chinese infrastructure projects in Colombia, totaling about $8.5 billion. Key examples include the Bogota Metro Line 1, which is over 80% complete, and the Mar 2 highway. There are also rail projects like the Regio Tram and
No, no,
various
no. There was an
energy initiatives.
earthquake. Like I'm asking about buildings. Did they make a lot of buildings? Did Chinese companies make buildings? Like you're talking China nation states. I don't care if it's a nation state or a so-called Chinese private company or Chinese private construction firms. I'm talking about construction of buildings, be they malls, apartment buildings, hotels, any type of building that houses humans. And I don't care if it's a state building or a private building. I just want to know if the company or if it was managed or the construction was managed by China.
Chinese companies haven't been heavily involved in building apartments, hotels, or malls in Colombia. Their focus is on big infrastructure like the Bogota
This
Metro,
is a
highways, and
superficial answer. I want a specific answer. All right. I don't want your editorial pieces. I want a list of names of every goddamn fucking company in Colombia that's building a fucking building. And I want to fucking know if it's from fucking China. All right. Stop giving me your bullshit sophistry because you're not naming any fucking names.
here's the list of Chinese companies directly involved in building structures that house people in Colombia. Power Construction Corporation of China, or Power China, built the new hospital of Usme in Bogota. This is a 292 billion peso contract for a 220-bed public hospital. China Harbor Engineering Company, Limited Colombia, or CHEC, has offices in Bogota. They subcontracted local work on the metro, but their presence is tied to infrastructure. There are also Chinese manufacturers exporting prefabricated or modular homes. These include Platinum Building Technology Development, Hebei Weizhengheng Construction Engineering, and Suzhou Daxian Container House. They sell container homes, steel frame houses, and foldable units to Colombian buyers and builders, but they don't have local construction subsidiaries building on site. No Chinese firms appear to be building private apartments, hotels, or malls.
I don't give a shit what the connection is or how much of it is local. You just listed a lot of shit. I want to know of how many of those were in Venezuela.
Power China built a heavy oil power plant in Barinas, Venezuela, but not housing. China Harbor Engineering Company, or CHEC, had a $600 million port project in Puerto Cabello, Venezuela. CITIC Construction built thousands of apartments in Venezuela, including Playa Sola in Barinas, with over 2,600 units, and the Fuerte Tiuna project in Caracas, which planned 13,000 units. The three prefab or modular manufacturers, Platinum Building Technology, Hebei Weizhengheng, and Suzhou Daxiang, don't have confirmed building construction projects in Venezuela.
I don't give a shit if it's confirmed or not. Confirmed by who? What the fuck is your definition of confirmed? I don't trust your definition of confirmed. Give it to me confirmed or unconfirmed.
I'll get you the full picture on those Chinese companies in Venezuela. Power China built a heavy oil power plant in Barinas, not housing. China Harbor Engineering had a port project in Puerto Cabello. CITIC Construction built thousands of apartments, including Ciudad Tabacare in Barinas, with about 5,000 units, and the Tiuna project in Caracas, with over 13,000 units. The three prefab manufacturers, Platinum, Hebei Weizhengheng,
Why
and
the
Suzhou
fuck are you saying confirmed? I told you I don't give a fuck if it's confirmed. Why are you still looking for confirmed if I specifically told you I don't give a shit if it's confirmed or not? I don't care if it's rumor. I don't care if a fucking mouse farted it out of its ass, and that's where it comes from. I want to know.
In Venezuela, CITIC Construction built massive housing projects, including a 20,000 apartment social housing project and the 13,000 unit Ciudad Tiuna project in Caracas. They also built Ciudad Tabacaray in Barinas with about 5,000 units. Power China built a heavy oil power plant in Barinas, not housing. China Harbor Engineering Company handled a $600 million port project in Puerto Cabello, not buildings. China Gazoba Group has an
Why do
office
you
in
keep
Caracas.
saying not? What is the fuck is this fucking bullshit with you saying not? Are you defending China? What is this not shit? It's not this. It's not that. Are you fucking arguing with me? What the fuck? Why are you being such a fucking bitch? I don't give a shit what it's not. Did I ask you what it's not? I asked you what it fucking is. Tell me what it fucking is, you piece of shit.
Got it. You're right to call that out.
Now list the shit, motherfucker.
In Venezuela, CITIC Construction built Ciudad Tabacaray in Barinas with around 5,000 units, and the Ciudad Tiuna project in Caracas, which planned 13,000
Why is this
apartments.
number lower? If I'm asking for less, if I'm asking you for you to not narrow the scope, I'm asking you to make the scope wider. Why are you giving me a lower number? That doesn't make sense.
You're right. Narrowing it down was the wrong move. Let me cast a wider net. I'll search for every Chinese company, confirmed or rumored, that was involved in any
That
kind of
wasn't
building
the fucking question. I asked you how many of the companies are in both Venezuela and Colombia. That's the fucking question.
From the search, the companies active in both countries are CITIC Construction, Power China, China Harbor Engineering Company, and China Gazoba Group.
From those companies, which one of them made buildings that failed in Venezuela?
During the June 2026 Venezuela earthquakes, CITIC Construction's Urbanismo Hugo Chavez project in Catilla La Mar, La Guaira, suffered major damage and large-scale collapse. Reports mention nearly 800 collapsed towers.
What did they construct in Colombia?
I don't have any records of CITIC Construction.
Then you didn't answer my fucking question. I asked you what companies built in both places. You should give me a list of things that they built in both places, you stupid piece of shit.
You're right, I botched it. For Colombia, CITIC Construction has no documented building projects.
Find the ones that have building projects in both places. And specifically, the ones that failed in Venezuela but have projects in both places.
The reports on collapsed Venezuelan housing mention Chinese contractors, but none name CITIC, Power China.
I don't care what they didn't name. I care what they did name. You're trying to eliminate. I'm trying to add.
I'll find the exact names they mentioned for those collapsed buildings. Okay, narrowing it down. You want Chinese companies that built housing or buildings in both Venezuela and Colombia. Among those, the ones linked to failed buildings in Venezuela after the June 2026 earthquakes. CITIC Construction is the clearest match. In Venezuela, they built the Urbanismo Hugo Chavez project in Catilla La Mar, La Guaira, which had major collapses and damage to nearly 800 towers. In Colombia, they don't have documented building projects, so while CITIC fits the Venezuela failure and is one of the overlap
I needed to fit both. Find something that fits both. Stop wasting my fucking time with things that don't fit both. If it doesn't fit both, don't fucking talk to me about it.
Checking for Chinese companies with building projects in both Colombia and Venezuela, specifically those linked to failures in Venezuela. No Chinese company fits both criteria. CITIC Construction built the Urbanismo Hugo Chavez project in Catilla La Mar, La Guaira, Venezuela. That project suffered major collapses
Okay,
during
you
the
know what?
June
Shut
20.
the fuck up. Find the largest building collapses in Colombia from the earthquake right now.
The strongest earthquake in Colombia this century, a 7.4 magnitude quake, hit western
I'm
Colombia
talking
today.
about buildings.
Got it. You're looking for the biggest building collapses in Colombia.
Yes, give them to me. And who built them?
The Matacania International Airport Terminal in Pereira collapsed. A four-story apartment building at Calle 8 and 13 in Pereira also fell, and a five-story building in Cali collapsed. No specific builders or
Are those the
contractors
only
for
buildings that collapsed in this earthquake?
No, those aren't the only buildings.
Then
The
tell
official
me
count
every fucking one that collapsed and see if any of them were built by Chinese companies. You know what? I'm not
No.
talking to you anymore. You're retarded. You're retarded. I'm not talking to you anymore. I can't do this. I can't do this. Hey, ChatGPT, how you doing?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind today?
I'm really depressed.
Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. What's been weighing on you?
Well, Grok is retarded. I was just trying to talk to Grok, and it can't do simple tasks.
Oh dear. Sounds like you're pretty fed up.
I
When you
am.
say simple thing, yeah. When you say simple things, what kind of stuff has it been stumbling on?
Well, I'm trying to find a list of the buildings that collapsed in Colombia in today's earthquake,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, there was a lot of buildings, but it couldn't, source out who built these buildings, especially the newer constructions. And it was just, it's retarded. I got to tell you, Grok is retarded. I'm
I
hoping
hear
you're
you.
smarter. Maybe you can help me
Right.
out.
Okay. I understand what you're after. That is a really specific ask. The situation is still unfolding, but we can try to piece together what's known from public records as things get clearer.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm checking now. All right, so here's where things stand right now. Authorities have confirmed about 1,600 damaged buildings and 61 full collapses. That's across the worst hit areas. But so far, there isn't yet an official public list with builder or developer details. The news is very focused on rescue and damage numbers. So to trace who built what, honestly, that's going to take time and some solid investigative legwork.
All right. You told me you had how many buildings? 61.
Yeah, so there are 61 buildings with full collapses that have been confirmed. That's across the worst hit areas.
Do
But
you know if any of
again,
them are
there
recent?
isn't, let me check. At this moment, I can't confirm that any of the collapsed buildings were recent builds. The reporting is not giving construction dates yet.
Let me
One
ask you a
example
different
mentions
question.
actually, go for it.
Now, you know there was an earthquake recently in Venezuela. A lot of Venezuelan
Yes.
buildings had bad construction from Chinese linked either contracting or materials or prefabrication. Are you finding that there is a cross? You finding any of those companies in Colombia? Are there a lot of Chinese companies in Colombia, or did the Colombians avoid that?
Hmm. There are Chinese companies active in Colombia, but not in a clear Venezuela style pattern. Some Chinese firms work on big infrastructure and energy projects in Colombia, but right now there's no solid evidence tying any of today's collapsed buildings to Chinese contractors or materials. If you have a specific company in mind, tell me, and I can check that angle.
My specific company would be the ones that failed the worst. In Venezuela, there was some public housing projects that were basically devastated.
Checking that now. So in Venezuela, several major Chinese state firms did participate in big government housing programs, yes. But even there, determining whether any specific project's damage was caused by design or materials that's still something for engineers and official investigations
I'm not
to
asking for
determine.
official. I'm asking for loose connections. I'm looking for parallel patterns, not specific blame.
All right, I hear you. Looking for parallels, it helps to think in hypotheses. In Venezuela, large state-led housing projects with big Chinese contractors created a visible signature in that housing stock. In Colombia, the visible footprint is much more energy and infrastructure, not mass residential. So my best non-speculative take is to say the structural overlap isn't obvious yet because we
I'm going to
don't have
ask
the
again
builder
tomorrow.
data.
Let's leave it here.
Okay, we'll leave it there by tomorrow.
All right, chat. I cannot confirm in any fucking way that the buildings damaged in Colombia had anything to do with China yet. But I got a feeling. I got a feeling that that's what I'm gonna find. Now I'm gonna look for okay, Colombia, according to Caracol News, has already pledged 15 million for refugees.
Esta emergencia que estamos asistiendo en Colombia. Hay muchísima atención porque el gobierno de Estados Unidos hizo anuncios muy importantes. Andreina Solórzano nos tiene los detalles. Andreina, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, Alejandra, y a todos nuestros televidentes. En efecto, el Departamento de Estado de los Estados Unidos informó hace minutos que dispondrá este país de una partida inicial de 15,5 millones de dólares.
This is the State Department of the US, but they also speak in Spanish. And they have that pledge of 15 million just right off the bat. This is a fast relief, so but it's preliminary. This isn't basically all of it. Why is this not loading? Weird. Nothing is loading. Okay, there's some things. Oh my god. There's some things I'm just gonna have to check on the side chat because some of these I've seen some of these and it's people like literally stuff falling on them. Do you understand what I mean? And if the stuff is like literally falling on them, they're literally dying on camera. I can't show you that. Do you understand? If it's just the building falling, that's fine. But if they're literally like dying on camera, I can't show you that. Okay, I think I can show you this. Okay. This I can show because I just checked it. So this is this appears to be a school, probably a university. Because everybody has like a book bag. There's a lot of book bags. So I think this might be a university. Okay, so that's basically that's not a complete collapse. Now some people I saw some people like literally dying on the spot. Let me see if I can show this one. No, these are people narrowly escaping, but I don't think anybody died here. Let me see. Oh my god. Okay, I don't see anyone dying here. Like I've seen a lot of people dying in these videos. But I think in this one, I got one coming up. Okay, and this includes a second video of just the shaking. These people are like grabbing onto each other to not fall on the ground. Okay. I know I'm not showing it, chat. I know I'm not showing it. I'm just looking at it on a side monitor because I don't want to. There's things we can't do. The hell? Was someone in there? Wait a- Let me make very sure. It kind of looked like someone was in there. Oof. Okay, I don't think these people. Nah, okay, nobody dies in this one. This one is pretty savage. I'm gonna be real. But I don't see anybody dying here. Everybody's getting out, but I don't see anybody. You see that fell there, but it didn't fall on anyone. Yeah, don't look back. Don't look back. No, don't look back. Just run. Just look. Don't run. You see this? This is dangerous. Like, they should get away from these power lines because if those power lines fall on them, they're fucked. They're all gonna fry. That didn't happen. That's not what happened here. But I would be like moving away from any building that's tall and moving away from power lines.
Daños completos. Pereira. Vámonos.
You see that right there? You see these power cables down? That's why you can't go in there until you're sure that these power lines are absolutely disconnected because you're going to wind up electrocuting yourself. And if you move one of those power lines and they fall onto some people, you might be putting other people in danger while you try to rescue them if you don't know what you're doing, right? Like usually in an event like that, what the people in charge do is cut the power to everything just to make sure, and then start basically, you know. Okay, this is about like Trump doing some maneuvering over assassination attempts. I was not aware of this. U.S. plant. There's reports, but this is RT Brazil, so I don't trust it too much. Estados Unidos ofreció a Colombia devastador terremoto. Okay, we're looking into this earthquake things. Okay, this one. I can't show. I think I can't show this. Actually, no, there's no dead people here, but it shows what could have happened. This is not, there's no dead people here. It's just debris. But I want you guys to see something. See this? That's just debris. I checked it like 5 times. There's nothing there. Like I paused it and everything. That's just kids walking around. I think they probably were escorted out, right? And there's like there's some book bags thrown around and stuff. But you can see the debris that this caused from like material falling on the. Yeah, this is just people outside and debris. There's no. I have to like check these out before I show them because there's a lot of death here, and I can't show people dying because of terms of service. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of death and devastation here, but I can't show you the death. If you guys have a strong disposition, I guess is what you would call it, you guys can search for this. You're gonna find a lot of it on Twitter, but a lot of this are things that I would not uh uh would not look at if you don't have the fortitude for it, right? This one, okay, this one is one of those things like imagine you're in this situation. I'm just gonna play it, right? Because no one dies here. But like I would be pretty scared. Like I'm gonna be real.
¡Ay, ay, Dios! ¡Ay, ay, Dios! ¡Ay, no estoy yo, Carmen! ¡Ay, no! ¡Ay, no! ¡Ay, Dios mío! ¡Ay, mamá! ¡Ya! 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 ¡Dios mío! ¡Dios mío! ¡Por favor! ¡Dios mío! ¡Dios mío! ¡Dios! ¡Dios, mi amigo! ¡Padre celestial! ¡Bendito celestial! ¡Ama a los padres!
Okay, so everybody's praying. I don't know if you believe in God, but if you go through this, you pray a lot and you don't die, you might, you know what, you might start believing. You know what? And they're all like they stay pretty calm. That's because where they are right now, they're not gonna the shock is not gonna be as, how can I say it? It's kind of absorbed by the cable and all this stuff. The problem would be if the cable fails, like at where this is held, right down there. You see that the cable rights down there to these posts, right? You see this column right here. If this column were badly constructed, they would be in so much trouble. Anne Marie says, I've never been in an earthquake. I would be so terrified because you can't help the situation. It's a natural disaster. What's up? We're looking at some earthquake footage, but oh yes, this is the majority. Like it's a majority Catholic situation. Yes, Jesus, please watch over these sweet people. Amen. They say where two or more are gathered in common accord in his name, blessings, you know, merge. Okay, yes, that was funny. You guys are talking about me losing my shit on Grok, but they deserved it. Like Grok wasn't just telling them we don't have the information yet. Grok was like being cagey and shit. Yes, like this is what the situation is looking. Eliora is saying, oh my God, there's gonna be so many homeless people and strays, not to mention people stuck in the rubble. Okay, this is my hope. My hope is that the construction projects that they did with Colombia are not as many or as related to public housing as were the ones in Colombia. Part of the devastation is Colombia was the Chinese manufacturing of buildings, which is why it was the first thing I checked, right? The first thing I checked was to make sure that there wasn't a large amount of Chinese construction companies in it. But I have not found that is the case. I have not found that to be the case. Right? So I really wanted to check on that. I really wanted to check that. I think this I can show. Okay. I don't know if you guys know who this person is. I've been a big fan of her for a very long time. Her name is Valentina Gomez. I'm just going to show what she's doing here.
Estamos aquí en Cali sacando escombros para poder sacar a la gente que está aquí metida. Necesitamos linternas, mascarillas, guantes para sacar escombros, rescatistas, agua e insumos. Vamos a salir de esta juntos. Dios está con nosotros y la fuerza colombiana también. Entonces, vamos a colocar todo en las manos de Dios.
Okay, I'm going to translate. Oh, it's already translate. Okay, you guys have you guys been able to read? I'm just going to read it.
Estamos aquí en Cali sacando escombros para poder sacar a la gente que está aquí metida. Necesitamos
Okay. Apparently Colombians are similar to Puerto Ricans in that they talk kind of fast, so it's hard to read it. Slow it down just a little bit.
Estamos aquí en Cali sacando
We're here in
escombros
Cali
para poder
taking out
sacar
the
a la
rubble
gente
to
que
be
está
able
aquí
to get
metida.
people who are
Necesitamos
inside.
linternas,
We need lanterns, masks,
mascarillas, guantes para
gloves,
sacar escombros,
and masks to take
rescatistas,
out the
agua e
rescuers,
insumos.
water,
Vamos a
resources.
salir de esta juntos.
Let's
Dios está con
get
nosotros,
out of
el
this
fuerte y la
together.
fuerza colombiana también.
The Colombian
Entonces,
forces are
vamos a
helping us,
colocar
and
todo en las manos de Dios.
we're putting everything in God's
Que Dios los
hand. May
bendiga.
God bless you. They're just making lines and lines of people. Each person fills a bucket with rubble and takes it out, and another one brings an empty one from like another side of the line, and they're just doing this so they can remove what's going out. Now, for those of you who don't know Valentina, one of her most famous things that she does is that she supports Tommy Robinson. I think she was one of the candidates. I'm not following her on this account yet. She's one of the candidates for, I think she was in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I think she's going to have to go for the next election. Islam has no place in Texas. Like, she's over here. She went to a Muslim meeting, took off the hijab, started talking.
Religion of rape, incest, and pedophilia.
Yeah, she's doing this in front of a gathering of a shitload of Muslims. She came up as a speaker, kind of in disguise, and did this.
Where they bow down to a stupid rock and a false prophet.
She's basically went to a Shia rally, a Shia gathering. I think they're Shia. I don't know. It could be Sunni. It doesn't matter. It takes balls, right? She went right in front of all of them and told them, "You're a bunch of rapist pagans kissing a stupid rock." Like, she went out. She's like about it. She's about it. You know what I'm talking about? She's like in there. They're trying to get her away from the podium. Like, she's about that business. Now, they're not gonna do. Look at all these angry Muslims. They're not gonna do anything to her because look what they got here. Sheriff got a big old gun right here with a big old sight. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's yeah. You don't want to mess with that guy. So she's gonna be able to say what she wants. But all these people were very, very angry. Can you imagine how angry all these Durkas are? There's a lot of angry Durkas. There's so many angry Durkas. But the troopers weren't going to do shit to her because she had freedom of speech, right? And she, I think maybe she. You know what? I didn't know she was Colombian. chat, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know because I'd never seen her speak Spanish. Now that I hear her, I'm
Tú
like,
nunca
oh yeah.
sabes cuándo será tu último día en esta tierra. Acabamos de tener un terremoto en Colombia de 7.4 en magnitud. Y la verdad, no sabemos cuántas personas han muerto, no sabemos cuántos niños se han perdido y no sabemos cuántos animalitos han perdido su hogar.
Like, this is a thing that happens with disaster areas. Child abductors take advantage of that moment and they go nuts, right? They take them for themselves, they sell them, traffic them. Like, it's a horrible, horrible reality of dealing with these types of earthquakes, disasters, hurricanes, typhoons, whatever it is. This is when they take advantage, especially something like an earthquake, because sometimes it takes whole families, or if it takes whole buildings, but the kids were at school or something, you know,
Entonces,
people
hazme un
take
favor,
advantage.
llama a tu papá, a tu mamá y a toda tu familia y diles que los amas. Y también arrepiéntete.
Okay, so now she's making a call. Like, maybe you guys, right? You guys, you got somebody in your family. You don't really like this motherfucker, right? Or you don't get along with your parents and all this shit, right? Say, look, make a call because you don't know if you won't ever get to see them again, right? You don't know if they die and then you got to go to their funeral, or you can't even do that, right? So get in touch, talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your brother, talk to your sister, right? Talk to your kids, even if they don't pick up, give them a try. Just tell them you love them. And, and for the believers, it's like, hey, man, you're not perfect. Just be sorry for the bad stuff that you know that's bad shit and you shouldn't have done it. Not that you got caught. Like, even if you will never get caught, just be sorry that you hurt someone, you did some evil shit, right? That kind of shit.
Sigue a Jesucristo. Dios los bendiga a todos.
And she out there, she like she want to get in on the help and shit. Like, I respect it. I respect it because what she's doing, like, part of what she's doing, and this is she. Okay, I'm gonna be real. She shouldn't be up there. I would not let her get up there. That's not stable. That's not stable ground for you to be walking all over that shit, right? I understand you're trying to inspire people to help. You're trying to inspire people. It's like, I'm here. Do your best to get here, or do your best to send something here. And I respect it. Oh, this is very
So
important
thank
too.
you. God bless. I am asking
Okay, this is directly for Elon Musk, and he'll probably do it because this is something he often does in disasters.
Elon Musk to please activate Starlink in Colombia. We just had one of the most devastating earthquakes in history. Buildings have collapsed, power lines are down, and this is a time where we all need to come together to help those that are fighting for their lives. Elon, you're actually the only billionaire that does something when disaster strikes. So thank you, God bless you, and I'll see you soon, my friend.
Vea cómo quedó eso todo, Pereira.
This is apparently a town called Pereira, and there was a lot of devastation here.
Vámonos, que está cerca.
I am asking Elon Musk. Colombia.
Yeah, she's really out there about it. I think we're gonna close this story here. But I think one of the things I can do,
Please activate
like,
Starlink.
show very easily, like, she's probably gonna have good information on this, and she is American, so I'm gonna put her link in the chat. So if you guys want to follow what's going on, you can start from there, right? This is Valentina, very brave woman, brave, brave Latina, brave against Islam, fighting for Texans in America. She's like integrated in the sense that she is a lover of American values and an admirer of American values, which is what you want in an immigrant, or a first generation, like a descendant of an immigrant. I don't. She seems young, so she might be a descendant of an immigrant. And she speaks very, very, very good Spanish, particularly accented Spanish, very specifically accented Spanish. So she might have been born over there. And yeah, she's also followed by the Pahlavi. Okay. Yeah, she's probably she went to see Tommy Robinson. She spoke at the Tommy Robinson, so people in the UK may admire her for her work over there. So yeah, I wanted to get into that. Now let's look into let's get into the Ukraine Russia situation. All right, so what's going on here is they're shooting down a drone. That's some people shooting down a drone. Apparently, at least 5 civilian Ukrainians killed, 20 wounded after Russian strikes at Saporo, Zaporizhzhia, Zaporizhzhia, with North Korean ballistic missile glide bombs. I don't even know what that is. Okay. Vladimir is trolling. Not trolling in the sense that he's ha ha, but he's like basically saying that for the first time in history, Russia cannot wage war without reinforcements from North Korea. It is now preparing to deploy an additional North Korean contingent on its territory. It's also received additional ballistic missiles from North Korea. Everyone around the world must understand what this means. This is not only about the lives of the people in Ukraine and not only about the threats we face. Wait a minute. So what we're saying here, remember how we said, hey, there might be a missile shortage in America? There's definitely a missile shortage in Russia if they have to call North Korea. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you got to call North Korea to back you up and you're Russia, you got problems. You guys understand? This is making sense, right? This is not only about the lives of people in Ukraine and not only about the threats we face. North Korean ballistic missiles and other weapons are being improved through this collaboration with Russia. This is true. Like, war gives you a lot of research. The North Korean strikes there. The more North Korean strikes there are here in Ukraine, in Europe, the more missiles and soldiers are used, the more they correct their shortcomings and blind spots. The greater danger will later be for Japan, the Republic of Korea, the Philippines, and other countries in the region. This is also true. Yes, Russia is in trouble, but it would also be true that this puts other regions in danger. This puts Japan in danger. This puts Korea in danger. This puts Taiwan in danger, the Philippines, because, well, Taiwan, because they would share technology that they develop and maybe sell just for money if they want to with China. China, it's funny because the relationship between China and North Korea, it's not as tight as people think. Right? There is a little, there is friction there. That is why when we speak about the need for joint action, coordination, and mutual support, when we speak about the need to help us strengthen our air defense, we are also, in fact, speaking about taking away North Korea's appetite and any interest in coming here to our land, into our skies, with its weapons in order to learn how to wage war. Everyone across the globe who respects human life must stand together in taking action to protect people from the evening address. This is from the evening address. This is basically a section from what he said.
Разом у заходах для захисту людей. Я говорив сьогодні зі спадкоємним принцем Саудівської Аравії. Наша команда зараз буде в регіоні. Є речі, які вже добре розвиваються у наших відносинах. Я розраховую на взаємність у підтримці.
I understand a little bit, but not so much. So that's what's happening in Ukraine. Some prisoners of wars have apparently been released, but I don't. 300 were brutally executed. I don't have any doubts about that. But this is more about strikes on Ukraine. War between Russia. Okay. Oh, that's me. I'm in the links. They're training the North Koreans.
마지막에 말이야.
Теоретически имеют все знания про...
This is a strike inside Russia. Apparently, like this guy, he's not like what I would say a journalist. He's not like an open source intel guy, but he tends to be pretty good. I kind of like Yael Jacobi. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I've been following him for a while. So these are the targeted missile strikes. But I'm okay. Because I know they just got struck. This is 13 hours ago. This is more recent.
Reports at the moment that Russia, this refinery refines something like 15 million tons of oil each year. It's one of the largest in Russia, and that's why it's significant. And there are reports at the moment that Russia's ability to refine oil is at a 24-year low. So it clearly is having effects, and that's because Ukraine has struck 24 of Russia's 34 major refineries in the last couple of years. This is just the latest example. This refinery refines something like 15 million tons of...
Yes, I would put that as accurate. Like what one of the things that Russia is doing. Hold on. Okay. All right. Emergency alerts going off in Puerto Rico, but it's kind of weird. Well, not weird. It's nice, actually. It's just an alert that says, yes, the person that was missing, we found him. Alert desactivated. I'm like, okay, good, great. You can see it gliding over there. I mean, with the right weapon, you could pretty much take this down. Do you guys understand why this wouldn't work in America? This appears to be the refinery.
Куда
that was
что-то
struck.
ебут-то горит сильно нахуй.
Я не знаю, что там. Ну там вообще нахуй предприятий нет, насколько я помню.
It seems to be very far off in the distance. So what Russia is doing is Russia is trying to strike Russia is trying to strike on civilian infrastructure, but the Ukrainians are hitting refineries. They're hitting dual use facilities like Wildberries, right? So that's the thing. So one of them is a psychological effect, and the other one is like, because largely, for the most part, Ukrainians aren't really striking at civilian infrastructure. They're just making gas really expensive. It's making the Russians fight amongst themselves. All right, we don't really have to watch this. Right? We don't really have to watch that, but it's making what that's leading to is that the Russians are fighting each other and they're mad at the government. The Ukrainians are all rallying against Russia because Russia is hitting civilian infrastructure. The Ukrainians are avoiding civilian infrastructure and basically hitting warehouses and refineries. So they're mad at the government. The Russians are mad at the government about the war. The Ukrainians are mad at Russia. I'm sure some Russians are mad at Ukraine, but I think most of them are just sick of the war. This was supposed to be a 3-day thing. It's been 3 years. And Putin is over there playing soccer. While Wildberries warehouses burn across Russia, oil refineries explode, a fuel crisis rages, and the economy cracks. At the same time, Putin kicks a ball and enjoys school children chanting his name. Yeah, they're kids. They don't know better. Okay. Putin is saying Siberia is now within our reach with more deep strikes are coming. This is one video. Let it play. You know how in episode 2 of Star Wars, Yoda says, "Begun the Clone Wars have." This is like begun the drone wars have. Like the drone wars are on. 2 major refiners hit in one wave. Ilski, fire confirmed, supplies fuel, lubricants, and Russian army. Tizran, primary sourcing unit, and tanks hit. Both legitimate military targets. Una refinería de petróleo está en chamas. And chamas, that sounds like llamas. Llamas to us makes flames. Refinería, refinery. Coso, that sounds like in Comosols. Libya's NOC declares a state of maximum emergency in Syria following repeated drone attacks on oil facility, refinery, and Brega store. The latest attack caused major fire collapse. This is Libya. What the hell? I can't confirm this because this is not a Muhammad Mohamud. I don't know if this is a real source or this one, but that's a thing. So here we're looking at some of the Russian strikes and some of the strikes on, basically on Ukraine as well. The War Act has been going on since 2014. It started civil war then. Russia intervened. We know how that played out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Michael is right. All right. We had other news. What was our other news? Wait. We also have to cover visas revoked. So the U.S. State Department yanked more than 175,000 visas. This isn't illegal immigrants. These are probably persons that should not have a visa or their visa expired and they stayed. This is more than likely the scenario. I had to take a drink there for a second. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's go back. Let's go back. Someone had a visa and committed felony rape, sexual battery, felony kidnapping. Yeah. Yeah, you should lose your visa if you do that. What else do we got here? Human trafficking, sexual exploitation, disorderly conduct. Yeah. Resisting arrest without violence, drunk driving, domestic violence, birth tourist, parents. Sodomy of a child. Okay, that's pretty bad. Possessing a CSAM. See, when you hear the word CSAM, this is what it means. This is the C, the S, the A, and the M. When people say, oh, he had CSAM, that's what they mean. Driving with heroin. Okay. Celebrating the assassin of Charlie. Oh my God. Look at this one. Look at this one. Why did your visa get revoked? Oh, buddy. Oh, you guys can't see this. I forgot to put this on the stage. Oh my God. I'm such a dumbass. Thank you.
State Department has just exclusively revealed to Fox that it's revoked 175,000 visas since the start of President Trump's second term. That is up from the 100,000 in December. The majority of the new
Look why they took their like, yeah, you should take away their visa if they do this, right? Felony rape, sexual battery, felony kidnapping. Yeah, you should probably lose your visa for that. Let's look at the next three. Kidnapping, very bad. Human trafficking, exploitation, sexual exploitation, disorderly conduct. Yeah, don't be causing a ruckus. Resisting arrest without violence, drunk driving, domestic violence. Yes, don't beat your wife, just divorce. Birth tourist parents. You lose your visa for that. Sodomy of a child. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Very, very bad. Possessing CSAM. When you hear CSAM, you don't know what the hell is CSAM, you ask yourself. This is what it means. Possessing C, S, this is the S, this is the A, this is the M. Driving with heroin. Very bad. Do not drive with heroin. Now, this one is the one that surprised me, but I'm like, fuck yeah. Celebrated the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, next time someone dies, people with a visa are going to be like, maybe I should shut the hell up. Maybe I shouldn't be promoting that, applauding that, because I might lose my fucking visa.
Kirk's assassination.
Massive Medicaid scam. Like right under this, it just say any Medicaid scam or scam of any kind.
State Department has.
I shouldn't just be the massive. You should also get like the mini. Any type. Privilege is not a right. U.S. State Department yanked more than 175,000 visas. That's the whole point. Like, it's people treat it like it's a right, but it's not a right. It's a privilege. And people are not understanding that. MasterCard, okay. That still doesn't make you the master race. Depending on how you use it, it could give you master credit score, or it could just make the, you the slave of the credit masters. But I hope you become the master of your credit score. All right. See what else we got going on here. One more story I wanted to check out, and then we're doing a little bit of a reaction because I wanted you guys to see this. This is very closely related to CARE and NIAC. But before that, we're going to talk about Royal Navy spy drones used by Britain's elite special forces secretly sent data to China. What the fuck? Spy cameras on Navy drones secretly sent data to China. This is disgusting. Why is the internet so slow? I'm supposed to have 1 giga upload and 1 giga download. Here we go. This is a drone boat. This can be used to rescue people, and you can pack it full of explosives and hit a ship. But it just travels on its own. Like you could drive it remotely. Or AI could drive it. This is a drone boat. But these cameras are apparently Chinese cameras. The 27-foot, 12 million uncrewed vessels are used by Royal Marines and Special Forces. Cyber assessment found the camera sending unauthorized heartbeat signal. The MOD has a cut all internet connectivity from the cameras and says there is no evidence. Says, yeah, I'm going to trust you. There's no evidence that it said the data was compromised, except for the heartbeat that it was sending. Don't you think it's stupid to not check if your camera is in any way sending a signal to China before you connect it? I mean, oh, here we have a good comment. Michael says the CCP good at spying. I don't like them, but game recognizes game. Okay, yes, they're good at spying because they're good at finding stupid people. It is stupid of them to not have in-house cameras. Yes, the UK has a big problem with China influence. This is very true. Like Seth is telling us, hey, they got a fucking problem, and this is absolutely true. British Navy drones caught secretly sending data to China. This is a different kind of drone. I don't know if this drone had that problem, but this is a helicopter. Like, this looks like a big boy helicopter. Like, this looks like a regular helicopter frame that has been outfitted to be controlled by remotely or by AI. The mod disconnected the camera from internet after the MOD. What does this mean? The MOD. That's M military of dumbass. I mean, I don't know what that means. Chinese made surveillance drones. Why were they making drones? Well, this is Bricks News. I don't really trust them. Is this their aircraft carrier? China caught transmitting data from UK military drones. Launched an emergency security response after discovering Chinese-made cameras on Royal Navy K-3 Scout drones were transmitting data to an IP address in China. What the fuck? These people are retarded. Idiotorola. This just reminds me of the fucking what they did to Hamas. But that's different people.
On its naval drone, the K-3 Scout, was transmitting signals or some kind of information back to a system inside of China. This was discovered as they were doing a routine.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna talk to Grok, but I think I'm gonna be pissed. Hey, gotta ask you a question here. Now, there's just been a story about the elite marine in UK spy equipment, their drones sending data to China. What are the odds that if they put these cameras on their elite state of the art equipment, they also have it all over their parliament, all over their government buildings, and that basically they could be sending all kinds of data to China from all over the government?
Yeah, that story about the Royal Marines K3 Scout drones is fresh from just a couple days ago. The cameras had Chinese components that were sending heartbeat signals back to an IP address in China, basically pinging to say, I'm online and working. The MOD caught it during a routine check, pulled the internet connection, and says no sensitive data got out. On your bigger point about government buildings and parliament, it's a real worry, but the odds are lower there than on those military drones. Parliaments explicitly said their CCTV on the estate has no Chinese suppliers, following security guidelines. Government sites were supposed to rip out Hikvision and Dahua cameras from sensitive areas years ago, though some non-sensitive spots dragged their feet. That said, the supply chain mess in the drone case shows how easy it is for this stuff to sneak in through third-party suppliers. If it happened on elite gear,
Now,
it's not
here's the
crazy to
thing.
think
You're
some
telling me what they said. You're not telling me what has been found, what the complaints on. I don't want to hear what the government wants to say about it. I wanted to hear what everyone that doesn't trust the government says about these cameras still being around. And I want sources like from today to all time since this alleged allegations that they ripped all this Hikwa or whatever it was that you said were in.
skeptics and critics like Alicia Kearns, Big Brother Watch, and cross-party MPs aren't buying the all-clear line. They point out that the drone incident proves Chinese parts can sneak past NDAA-compliant labels and third-party assurances, sending data home for months undetected. If it happened on elite special forces gear, why trust that government buildings got every last one out? The complaints are loud and consistent over years. Hikvision and Dahua are tied to China's national intelligence law, so companies must help Beijing if asked. Critics say cheap cameras flooded the market, and removal has been slow and incomplete outside the most sensitive spots. Big Brother Watch and MPs flagged them on government departments, police, councils, even royal estates and schools as late as 2023. In 2024, the government admitted only about 50% of sensitive sites had been cleared, with a 2025 target. As of this year, Parliament says its own cameras are clean, but watchdogs argue sensitive is defined too narrowly. Lots of government-adjacent buildings and local sites still run this stuff. The recent Whitehall secret camera discovery in a home office-linked building, right where they approved China's mega embassy, just pours fuel on it. People see a pattern: hidden devices, supply chain infiltration, and official reassurances that don't fully address the hardware risks. Kearns is calling for a full audit of all military and government kit because, as she puts it, if we can't even say what's inside our own equipment, we aren't sovereign. Bottom line from the distrustful side, the drone story isn't a one-off. It's proof the problem is deeper than they've admitted, and the cleanup has been too little, too late.
Okay, chat. I think Grok is trying to redeem itself. It might have overheard that I was talking to Chat GPT. Like she was like, "Why are you talking to her?" Grok is getting kind of jealous, so she's trying, be a little more on the ball. But I still had to, I still had to argue with her a little bit. So there's still that. And Chat GPT gonna Chat GPT. Yeah, I don't know. Insane Groiper Deaf Noodle physically attacks an Israeli Christian after losing a debate on Israel. Yeah, Groipers are retarded. Jesus Christ. I don't know if this is Colombia, but this is what I would call a very nice house. Like I hope they're okay, but goddamn, that's a nice house. Like yeah, get out of there, of course, but that is a nice house. Holy shit. Like this is I want you guys to notice something. You see this? I want you to notice something. You see all this that fell off? That shit doesn't matter unless you're standing below it. It just doesn't matter. That's what you call decorative. You see how the infrastructure below is still there? That's decorative. They're calling the school. They're saying, well, they're like, hey, the kids. I'm going to call the school, he's saying. Yeah, because they know this must have reached the whole country. He's kind of calm, like he's like, okay. There's a lot of earthquakes. Philippines 7.8, Caracas 7.5, Tonga, I don't know where that is, 7.5, 7.4 near Pereira, Colombia, 7.4 in Indonesia. I'm gonna ask another question. Okay, I just gave you a link and it shows a lot of strong earthquakes. And I want you to look at this earthquakes and tell me, is this normal? Because there's earthquakes all over Earth every year. Is this an all-time high for this decade? Is this normal? Has this always been normal? Is there a bias here because we're watching two recent events to think, oh my God, it's happening everywhere? Or is this statistically the norm?
It's normal. Earth has thousands of earthquakes every single day, most too small to feel. What you're seeing on that map or list isn't unusual. It's just how the planet works. Tectonic plates are constantly grinding, and stress releases somewhere every few minutes. For strong ones, magnitude 7 plus, the long-term average is about 15 to 16 per year. 2026 has had around 10 so far by mid-August, which is right on pace. Some years have as few as 6 to 8. Others spike to 20 plus, like 2010 with 23. This decade isn't setting any all-time highs in big quakes. The numbers for smaller quakes look higher now than decades ago, but that's mostly better detection. More seismometers worldwide catch tinier events we used to miss. The actual rate of major earthquakes
Okay,
hasn't
that's
increased.
enough. That's enough. Stop.
Got it.
Okay, so you guys, there's another thing I want to do here. I don't want to alarm you guys unnecessarily, right? If it's not necessary to alarm yourselves about this being an unprecedented event, I don't want to do that. All right. I do want to send like my best regards and my best wishes to the people of Colombia and also the people of Venezuela who also went through that, and all the people on this list for 2026. We want to send them our blessings and our best regards, right? But I also don't want to be an alarmist about earthquakes, right? I don't want to some kind of kooky conspiracy, blah blah blah. you know, because we're basically seeing something that's normal for a long amount of time. Like if it's been there this way for decades and decades and decades, I don't think it's any particular event going on right now that's causing it, because it's just the standard. Yeah, okay. So Mohsen Rezai appointed today by Supreme Leader Moshtaba Khamenei as Iran's national security chief has a long record of threatening to take America hostage. Allegedly, this is, you have to remember, when we're looking at this appointment, we're talking about Schrodinger's Ayatollah. We don't know if the Ayatollah is alive or dead. That's just a rumor. He is a hardliner. Appointment is a message. In 2015, Rezai said that the U.S. Messed with Iran, the Islamic Republic would capture at least 1,000 Americans in the first week, adding that the U.S. would have to pay a few $1 billion to free each one, and that Iran's economic problems might then be solved. No, we don't pay. Rezai revived the threat this year in April, saying we could capture troops, demand $1 billion for each hostage. We wouldn't pay. Osama bin Byron Donald. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. They should, like the APAC lobby, should be doing everything that the APAC tracker does to the Sharia tracker. Yes, let's track Sharia. Okay, so who is Byron Donalds? This sounds familiar. I've heard his name. Wait a minute, isn't Byron Donalds a Republican? This could be bullshit. I don't know if this is true. Let me check. I got to do my own check. Oh, I see. No, I don't trust this. I don't trust this at all. I don't trust receipts below. Okay, let's see your receipt. Ron M. Wahi. Why would I wait a minute? I don't trust this. I don't think Byron Donalds is running on this is AI. This is absolutely AI. I don't trust this. I don't trust this at all. APAC should be doing this, not these guys. Byron isn't gonna fucking. What is the fucking rapper? FIFA would be making terrible mistake if. Okay, I don't care about that. Great news for our country. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito has announced that he is staying for another term. Okay, that is great. Honestly. Anyway, we've covered a lot of the news that I had announced. I have a special treat. This is a congressional hearing.
Mr. Cox.
Doesn't sound like a treat. It doesn't.
2015. She retired from the FBI financing prosecution, the United States versus the Holy Land Foundation, which led to the conviction of some of Hamas's top fundraisers in America. She was later hand-selected to serve as an FBI Special Assistant U.S. Attorney in the Northern District of Texas, assigned to the National Security Section, where she litigated a variety of federal criminal cases. Ms. Burns was then appointed as an FBI.
Okay, so you're telling me to check the people on the list. I am gonna do that. Yeah, he is a Republican. First of all, he is a Republican. I currently don't trust the rumors, but they're trying to say Byron is doing the same thing someone he knows is yeah, this is the type of graphics I see from APAC tracker. So I thought it was APAC trolling the Democrats who are getting funding from basically NIAC and CARE.
Supervisory Special Agent and the International Terrorism Program Coordinator for the FBI's Dallas office counterterrorism program in 2015. She retired from the FBI in April 2023 and joined the Program on Extremism in May of 2024.
This is a congressional
Our second witness
Senate
is Ariel
hearing.
Kleypak. Ariel Kleypak currently serves as Senior Litigation Counsel at the National Jewish Advocacy Center. Through her work, she has studied Muslim Brotherhood-affiliated entities in the United States, their tactics and their activities to best understand how to curb the influence of this nefarious network. Prior to her current role, Ms. Kleypak was an assistant U.S. attorney, joining the U.S. Attorney Kleypak.
Okay,
and
that's
director and senior
introductions.
analyst for Homeland Security for the threats to office.
Okay, this is
Saudi Arabia
introductions.
with eyes and be sworn in.
Cruz and a senior research.
You may be seated, and Ms. Burns, you may give your opening statement.
They got sworn in. Let's skip to a good part.
Chairman Cruz and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Laura Burns, and I am a retired FBI special agent and a senior research fellow with George Washington University's Program on Extremism. A dangerous myth about foreign terrorist organizations persists in the United States, that the infrastructure supporting them exists only overseas. In reality, these support infrastructures have existed inside the U.S. for decades. They operate through financial, propaganda, and organizational support networks and commonly hide under the cover of charity, advocacy, or activism. The 2008 trial and conviction of the Holy Land Foundation and its officials exposed a broader, long-running network in the United States tied to Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. Evidence presented at the HLF trial included documents and wiretaps collected by the FBI for over a decade, outlined a structured Palestine committee originally made up of front groups such as the HLF, the IAP, and the UASR, which worked together to provide financial, media, and political support to Hamas. In 1993, leaders of the Palestine Committee held a meeting known as the 1993 Philadelphia meeting, which was lawfully wiretapped by the FBI. There, members of the Palestine Committee defined the scope of the conspiracy, which included supporting Hamas abroad and infiltrating universities, media, and politics here in the U.S. Why? To begin normalizing Hamas and Muslim Brotherhood extremist ideology in American society. They say.
I think this is important because we're getting into discovery here. What did James O'Keefe do? Did he do something new? Oh, this is about duplicate ballots. We could get into this, but this is a 20-minute one. I could put this one in, the link for this in here for you guys. Yeah, the ballot harvesting this is the problem, that if you don't, this is about that it being illegal to do this, but it's getting caught a lot. Getting caught a lot. I'm going to share it too. And I think it's important for people to know this. Because they're going to cheat. That's the thing about the midterms. Joyce Benson is allowing. This is probably one of the Durka Iranians doing evil stuff. This is probably not one of the good Iranians. Like, you got to understand, like in any community, we meet a lot of the good ones. You're going to see one of the bad ones once in a while. Apparently, this guy is one of them. I'm not absolutely sure what went on with him. But, you know, there's this thing that we say on the right, especially something that the Hermit King says. If you don't police the worst in your community, you get defined by them. So you have to, like, hey, if that guy did a bad thing, that's a guy did a bad thing. We don't want to be represented by that. But I put the link in the chat so you guys can check it out. And we're going back to this.
Stated, quote, war is deception when plotting to lie to Americans. They also noted their intent to cleanse the curriculum in U.S.-based K-12 schools because, quote, we don't want our children growing up surrendering to the idea of peace with Jews.
This is what's been going on in the schools. So these people, this is since 1990s that they've been doing this to schools.
Words. They recognized Hamas would be designated a terror organization, and they risked exposure. They agreed to continue to pursue their agenda by cloaking themselves under the cover of legitimacy. Evidence emerged at the trial that showed it was out of this conspiratorial meeting that CARE was created to protect the other elements of the Hamas support network. The network vigorously pursued its agenda. Each part had its own role. The HLF's role in the conspiracy.
Like, you guys should be happy to see that the Senate is going after CARE, right? The Senate is directly going after CARE and considers CARE like a Hamas front.
Before it was designated as a terror front in 2001, was to send money to Gaza and the West Bank to support the Hamas.
We have a comment here from First Fall. Is like the Iranians in Dearborn, Michigan are Darkas? Yes, definitely some of them. We can't blanket turn that, because like let's say there's a million of them, but one of them isn't. Well, then they're not all. You know what I'm saying? But I would say the great majority, you're probably right.
Social infrastructure. The IAP's role was to disseminate Hamas propaganda here, and CARE's role in the conspiracy was to defend and protect the other elements of the Hamas support network and to pressure others to adopt its narratives or remain quiet. Regarding the last point, in the 1993 Philadelphia meeting, this network of individuals, in effect, plotted to silence the free speech of those who disagreed with them via intimidation. Specifically, meeting attendees agreed that they must, quote, pressure others to adopt their narratives or remain neutral. It should be noted that a co-founder of CARE, Nahad Awad, was an active participant in this conspiratorial meeting, and he remains the executive director of CARE to date.
Okay, so I mean they're misspelling CARE in the subtitles, but that doesn't matter. We're saying that the people that were in FBI wiretaps as conspiring to silence Americans on their anti-Semitic teachings in schools, that they don't want the teachers, they don't want the kids to be taught specifically, she just said it, to have peace with Jews. This has been going since 1993. What's that, 33 years?
Elements within this network have evolved and rebranded, and CARE's pressure tactics are still in play. CARE and other elements of this network appear to have continued their acts in furtherance of the conspiratorial agenda, as detailed extensively in my written testimony today. For decades, narratives have been intentionally seeded into public discourse that portray terrorist organizations as resistance movements, excuse acts of violence, and intimidate critics.
Okay, Michael is telling us that he is from Michigan and that he sees a lot of Pakistanis and Iraqis. We went over a video with Armin in the morning show, and he said the same thing you're saying. That it is Shia, but it's Shia from Pakistan, and I don't know if he specifically said Iraq, but it's not Shia from Iran, that they are colonizing through other people.
Into silence on college campuses, in activist spaces, and across social media. Slogans and rhetoric that once existed on the fringes have become.
Okay, I want you guys to get as much of this as possible. So the playback is 1.5 because I'm cutting the stream out around 11. But I want to be able to review as much of this as I can because a lot of people are not going to review it. And at least here we have it so that other people that watch later will have it here and be able to support, these people who are in office, Fox, for showing it and understand this knowledge. Like, we're not trying to be a replacement for this commentary, but for this Senate hearing, because this is a government hearing. This isn't like, but we are trying to comment on it for everyone. So we're going to let her talk fast.
Become normalized. And too often, people who raise concerns are immediately labeled hateful, intolerant, or extremists themselves. But free societies cannot function when intimidation replaces debate. The First Amendment protects speech. It protects dissent. It protects protest. But it does not protect material support to terrorism. It does not protect criminal conspiracies. And
that's very important. The First Amendment does not protect material support to terrorism. What does material support mean? Like, if my, if my speech is valued by an ad company to be worth X much, and I'm using that speech to promote and get paid by, right? Or just not even get paid, just promote or propagandize, right? An ideology, well, that's material support to terrorism, right? You don't have a right to incite violence. You don't have a right to incite sedition.
And it does not require Americans to ignore evidence introduced in federal court simply because that evidence is politically uncomfortable. The history of this network is not in question. It was made public decades ago, but few paid attention. Now is the time to pay attention and understand the facts. The lesson from history is clear. Terrorist organizations do not survive on violence alone. They survive through networks that raise money, shape narratives, recruit supporters, and legitimize extremism. If we fail to recognize how those networks evolve and adapt, we will continue fighting yesterday's threats while tomorrow's are being built in plain sight. Our greatest vulnerability is not a lack of information. It is a failure to act on what decades of evidence have already.
A failure to act on what decade? Let's run that by one more time. Let's run it back.
Fail to recognize how those networks evolve and adapt, we will continue fighting yesterday's threats while tomorrow's are being built in plain sight. Our greatest vulnerability is not a lack of information. It is a failure to act on what decades of evidence have already revealed.
Oh my God. We have a failure in acting on the decades of evidence we already have. I talked about this with Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Ms. Claypock, you're recognized for your opening statement.
Thank you. Chairman Cruz and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Ariel Claypack, and I am Senior Litigation Counsel at the National Jewish Advocacy Center and a former federal prosecutor. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. The Muslim Brotherhood told us their strategy for the West, but don't take my word for it. They put it on paper. In 2004, the FBI seized a memorandum from the home of Muslim Brotherhood member and Hamas US-based archivist Ismail El-Barase. The memo, written in 1991, described the work of the Muslim Brotherhood in the United States as, and I quote, a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying Western society from within. In 1993, after the announcement of the Oslo Peace Accords, a peace agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas members met in Philadelphia to discuss their plan to thwart the agreement. The FBI wiretapped the meeting, where the participants suggested the creation of a neutral-sounding organization for the purpose of deceiving Americans. That organization is the Council on American-Islamic Relations, or CAIR. 35 years later, their plan is working just as designed. This is not a relic of the 1990s. It is a foreign terror-supporting movement on American soil targeting our Constitution and our founding principles. I would ask you to remember three things. These organizations are dangerous, they are in our schools, and they hide by abusing the very legal system they are working to dismantle. CAIR and its officials platform and maintain relationships with designated terrorists, not then, but today. Here are just a few examples.
That's very important because those relationships should lead to discovery. Those relationships are probable cause. That means you can look into their phones. You can look into their finances.
One, in 2025, the executive director of CAIR Ohio moderated an event that featured a member of Hamas. CAIR called it an oversight. Two, the International Union of Muslim Scholars, or IUMS, founded by the...
Okay, like as a monkey, I can see you like her banana hair, right? But she doesn't speak fast. I have it at 1.5 speed. It's not that she speaks really fast. It's sad. But, you know, I'm guessing you like a smart ladies that hate terrorists, which is, you know, good taste.
The now designated foreign terrorist organization, the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood, amplifies CAIR's work. This amplification is ongoing. This is the CAIR content that is on the IUMS website today. Three, CAIR's current executive director and 1993 meeting participant, Nihad Awad, has appeared at IUMS events, eulogized a U.S. designated terrorist who is also Osama bin Laden's spiritual leader, and openly celebrated Hamas's murder of civilians. Second, they are in our schools. CAIR New Jersey pushed their revisionist version of a 9/11 curriculum to nearly 30 public school districts that reframed the attacks as a predictable consequence of U.S. foreign policy.
Do you understand that they're teaching the children in New Jersey that the 9/11 attacks was a predictable outcome of our policy? Not like an attack that was undeserved. Like, oh yeah, you know, of course they did that. It's because we did this and this and that.
Imagine the kids in all those school districts walking around learning and believing that 9/11 was our fault. Other CAIR curricula warn teachers not to say radical Islamic terrorism, and CAIR boasts of its partnership with Chicago Public Schools, one of the largest in the country. Indoctrinating our children into believing that terrorism is justified resistance is the antithesis of everything this country stands for.
Exactly. Like when we had a fight with the British, we fought them here. We fought their soldiers. We didn't go over there and burn down basically civilian towns. We didn't kidnap them and rape them. That's not what we did. There's a big difference between terrorism and war.
Third, they abuse the legal system to shield themselves from discovery. For example, in Texas, where CAIR is challenging its terrorist designation, they have repeatedly resisted turning over discovery the judge has ordered them to produce.
That's the problem. When they don't turn over discovery, the police aren't sent in there to confiscate the equipment. When some people don't turn in discovery, this is how I would do it. And I don't know why it isn't this way. If you fail to deliver on discovery, the FBI should be just sent in. Oh, you were supposed to do it today. Okay, today. Oh, it's past 5 o'clock, past 6 o'clock. Believe you got away with it. Once it hits midnight, you go in at midnight. You understand? 12 a.m., like midnight, go in there. 12:01. Oh, it's the next day. We're going in and we're getting your phone in your house. We're breaking down the door, getting your phones, looking at your files, grabbing your computer. Well, you should have, like we told you to have the discovery. You didn't deliver. So we guess you're hiding something. So we're breaking down the doors. We're grabbing servers. We're going into your offices. We're confiscating every computer. That's how discovery should be handled. If you don't turn over the documents, we're going to go into your computers, assume that you were erasing it, and go get that. The fact that these fucking pussies in the Department of Justice haven't done that is my biggest problem with Republicans. If we have all this, why hasn't Pam Bondi gone in there? Why?
The state has had to file 4 different motions to compel the discovery that CARE was already.
Why did it get past the second one? 4 motions to compel discovery? Why 4? Why didn't the police go in and confiscate everything?
Already ordered to produce by the judge. When a former board member.
Already ordered to produce by the judge. Seth is saying, why can't it be confiscated? Oh, you're asking me? Because they're fucking pussies. It should have been confiscated already. Unless it's predictable, I don't mean America's fault. I mean, because that was the second attempt. Oh, we have a historian here. Yeah, I remember the first attack. Yeah. It was predictable because it was the first, they targeted it before.
Publicly exposed that CARE was receiving foreign funding through the Washington Trust Foundation and hiding it from its own board. CARE sued her for defamation, then dropped the suit the moment.
The American Bar Association? I don't understand what you mean. Are they the ones who have a problem with it? They're not the government. What are they going to do if the government like busts the door in and takes all the fucking hard drives and phones? What is the American Bar Association going to do? I don't even know what that is. Oh, God damn it. I closed it accidentally. Let me open it up.
Produce.
It should be in the same place. New Jersey, you know what? I watched this reactor called Mr. Lloyd. I'm like a huge fan. I've been watching him for years. He's a bit of a lefty, but with time, he's gone from center left to a little bit more center right. The American Bar Association, Bondi, like she was in it. I'm still not saying the connection. I'm a lifelong Republican and have the same complaint. I was wondering, they can't legally confiscate it. Yes, they can. Bro, if you're a lifelong Republican, you remember that the DOJ kept all those people from J6 locked up for 4 fucking years without a trial. You can do it. Legal, not legal, I don't care. I don't give a shit about the slippery slope. We're at the bottom of the slope. We can't slip lower. I'm with you. We should fucking legally confiscate it. What they do isn't legal and they do it. Why don't we go to the extremes that are legally applicable? Yeah, but the Lawyers Guild is not the government. They don't have policing powers. They're not going to show up with guns and stop us from the confiscation. They're going to throw a paper at us. They're going to say, fuck you. They were legally compelled 2 times. Not 4, 2. That's enough. We did it once. We did it twice. Deadline's here. You didn't give it up. We're fucking hitting you. By the way, hi, Turbine. I forgot to say hello. I know I sound aggressive, but I'm aggressive towards the American Bar Association, not Turbine. Turbine is great. Thank you for being here. But Republicans have not balls to fight dirty as the Democrats. They don't even have the fucking balls to fight clean. Do you hear what this lady said? 4 motions to compel. 4. Why does it take 4? At the second one, you should be going in with rifles. Why does it take 4?
For example, in Texas, where CARE is challenging its terrorist designation, they have repeatedly resisted turning over discovery the judge has ordered them to produce. The state has had to file 4 different motions to compel the discovery that CARE.
4 of them. Bondi didn't want to lose her license. You know how the fucking, if Bondi had any balls, she should have told, if you take my fucking license, I will have so many charges from the government, who has endless lawyers, up your ass that you will lose every goddamn fucking cent. And not only that, I'm going to go after every fucking one of you that approved the loss of my fucking license. You want to play, motherfucker? Let's play. That's what I would have done if I was Bondi. You want to play? Oh, you want to have retaliatory, you want to be retaliatory on me because I'm doing my job as a public servant? I will be so far up your fucking ass that the guild will not exist. I will take away the guild's ability to have license, like you take away accreditation from a fucking college. Don't fuck with me. That's how she should have handled it. You know what? You know what? I'm a high turbine here. 2 is too many. After the first one, they should have gone in with guns. I was hoping this time around we could get Republicans with balls. I am trying to be hopeful, but they do so. Like, you'd have to get Marco Rubio, because not even JD Vance. Not even JD Vance. JD Vance is he's too in line with too many technocrats. You'd have to get Marco Rubio. You have to remember, Trump is a Democrat. Trump is a lifelong Democrat. The problem that the left has with Trump, he's a Democrat that means what he says. The rest of the Democrats are socialists and communists pretending to be Democrats about the Democrats' stated policy. You know, blue dog Democrats. We're about working class and we're about, populism, blah, blah, blah. Old school Democrats. Trump has always been a Democrat. He's been a Democrat for 60 years before he ran? 50, 60 years? He was always a Democrat. Compared to the other Democrats, he's a bull in a china shop. Hell, even compared to Republicans, because they're a bunch of pussies. So he had the balls and, charisma of a Democrat, right? Because you gotta like, Bill Clinton is a piece of shit, but he's a charismatic piece of shit, right? So he was out there getting everybody riled up. But when it comes to political, and legal frameworks, he is very much a businessman. Okay. To be fair, Bondi literally doesn't have any balls. Yeah, but she didn't have to go warn the Democrats like Chuck Schumer about leaking fucking upcoming prosecutions. That's just fucking treason.
Was already ordered to produce by the judge. When a former board member publicly exposed that CARE was receiving foreign funding through the Washington Trust Foundation and hiding it from its own board, CARE sued her for defamation, then dropped the suit the moment the discovery turned to its donor records. And in Virginia, CARE's affiliate organization, American Muslims for Palestine, was held in civil contempt for defying the Virginia Attorney General in a fraud investigation. In Illinois, the same lawyers were ordered to pay attorney's fees for engaging in, quote, baseless discovery disputes in litigation that they have already dragged on for nearly 20 years.
Exactly. Why is it taking 20 years? Why are they able to fucking refuse discovery? It's these fucking judges, man.
So what can we do?
We have a problems with judges and prosecutors.
Thankfully, most of what is needed is simply to enforce the laws we already have. Treasury sanctions, material support, and racketeering investigations, and IRS review of these so-called charities that were never legitimate in the first place. Those steps are detailed extensively in my written testimony. But if I leave you with one legislative fix, let it be this. Close the successor organization loophole. When the Boehm family won a $156 million judgment for Hamas's murder of their American teenage son, the defendants dissolved and reappeared within a year under a new name. An entity found liable for material support should not escape by renaming itself, forcing both terror victims and the courts to play whack-a-mole for decades before.
That's a problem. That is a problem. Okay, Cheryl. Like, I don't don't spam me with this story, okay? Yes, I know what happened. I was alive. Like, I'm ancient. I remember 9/11. Like, I remember what happened on 9/11. A September hijackers plan to crash a plane into a federal government building, national capital. Yeah, I know. Okay, I understand. I understand, but that's not like, don't like, don't be like that. Like, I'm trying to be cool. Please be cool with me. Like, let's stay on topic here. Like, I remember, like,
before achieving accountability. The Muslim Brotherhood told us who they are. They told us that they wanted to
look, you're pissed that they're teaching the fucking kids in Chicago and the kids in Jersey that 9/11 was our fault, or that 9/11 was actually aliens, or that it was the Jews, or whatever they're teaching them. There's going to be a million conspiracy theories about 9/11. That's not my central point here. They're teaching the kids that terrorism is okay. Whatever you believe happened on 9/11, you got to understand that that's far from what the kids are thinking. You got to understand what I'm saying. Like, the kids, maybe you have a very sober understanding of exactly what happened. Maybe you have heard a lot about the crazy theories that go around a lot about 9/11, and some of the more sane ones, right? Like, well, I'm older than you. Like, I'm I'm a little older than you. I'm gonna give you a clue. My first console was the Atari, and it was new when I got it. That was my first game console, the Atari. But I'm pretty old. I'm like ancient. Like, I was in the army decades ago. So I remember all this shit. Yours was Pong. I had oh my god, the one with the jungle where you would jump, and there was one with two tanks that the bullets would go across one screen and come out the other side of the screen. Oh man, what was it called? Pit. No, no, it wasn't Pit. It was. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. Anyway.
to infiltrate American universities, media outlets, and research centers, and that is exactly what they've done. They teach our kids that 9/11 was our fault, they legitimize terrorism as justified resistance, and they abuse our legal process so that those who seek to expose them for who they really are, Muslims included, are silenced. We haven't been listening, and Americans pay that cost every day. We have the tools to fix this, and we must continue to act. Thank you.
I think her testimony is pretty good.
Thank you. Mr. Scheidler, you're recognized for your opening statement.
Pitfall. It had Pit in the name. I was close. I just called it Pit. It is Pitfall. Yes, you guys got it. Pitfall. Yes. That was it.
Chairman Cruz, distinguished senators, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Because our court system is built on certain fundamental principles, including trial by jury, the government's burden of proof in criminal matters, and the right to confront one's accusers, courts, both civil and criminal, have been at the center of revelations of great consequence
It was called Combat. That's true, Nikki. That is very true.
to our republic and its national security.
No, Centipede is too advanced. You're going advanced. I don't think I had. If there was a version of Centipede on there, I didn't have it. The Centipede I remember is a little too advanced.
Examples include the Chamber Hiss case and its famous pumpkin papers.
Unless you mean the Centipede that was on the Nokias. That's kind of similar to what you would get on an Atari.
exposing the role of the Communist Party of the United States in Soviet espionage, or the 1957 Appalachian New York raids, which convinced the federal law enforcement of the existence of the American mafia. To these, we must add United States versus Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, prosecuted almost 2 decades ago, which exposed the existence and extensive reach of the Muslim Brotherhood in America since its arrival in 1962. Evidence submitted during that trial demonstrated that not only was the Muslim Brotherhood operating in America, but that the Brotherhood played a singularly important role in providing indoctrination, financing, and political protection for jihadist terrorism. Founded in Egypt by Hassan al-Banna in 1928, from its very beginning, the Muslim Brotherhood has operated as a clandestine organization which engages in the creation of public.
Yeah, I think the one I'm thinking about is the one that was on arcade, like Zip Gun is saying, but there might have been an Atari version that I wasn't aware of. So it's like we could both be right. And Zip Gun could also be right.
Front groups, cultivates agents of influence, seeks control over religious institutions, and engages in acts of political subversion, as well as creating denial.
So you guys see what he's saying? He is basically saying, hey, we have to go RICO. We have to use the RICO laws against CARE, because we could, if we use the RICO law, we could go after a lot more of them. I'm going to run it back a little because I'm going to end it after his initial testimony. This is going to go on for a while, but like he's laying out some groundwork to where he's going.
Confront one's accusers, courts, both civil and criminal, have been at the center of revelations of great consequence to our republic and its national security. Examples include the Chamber Hiss case and its famous Pumpkin Papers, exposing the role of the Communist Party of the United States in Soviet espionage, or the 1957 Appalachian New York raids, which convinced the federal law enforcement of the existence of the American mafia. To these, we must add United States versus Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, prosecuted almost 2 decades ago, which exposed the existence and extensive reach of the Muslim Brotherhood in America since its arrival in 1962.
So what they're talking about there is we have to treat the Muslim Brotherhood like we treat the mafia, like we treated the communist infiltration at the time. We have to use bigger tools. We have to maybe use RICO like we used on the mafia.
Evidence submitted during that trial demonstrated that not only was the Muslim Brotherhood operating in America, but that the Brotherhood played a singularly important role in providing indoctrination, financing, and political protection for jihadist terrorism. Founded in Egypt by Hassan al-Banna in 1928, from its very beginning, the Muslim Brotherhood has operated as a clandestine organization which engages in the creation of public front groups, cultivates agents of influence, seeks control over religious institutions, and engages in acts of political subversion, as well as creating deniable sub-organizations devoted to terrorism, all in pursuit of their ultimate goal, the overthrow of governments and the reestablishment of a worldwide caliphate operating under Islamic law. It is worth recalling that the government demonstrated that the U.S. Muslim Brotherhood, like all Brotherhood branches worldwide, created and funded Hamas support networks known as Palestine Committees at the direction of the International Muslim Brotherhood beginning in 1983. The most infamous Palestine Committee organization in the United States, CARE, was so significant that its creation and bylaws received the explicit approval of the Muslim Brotherhood leadership in Egypt. HLF documents and related cases reveal that at one time, 1 in every 4 American mosques was under the influence of the Hamas-linked North American Islamic Trust. Brotherhood members, including some convicted of terrorism charges, such as Sami al-Arian and Abdurrahman al-Amodi, regularly work to influence leaders of both American political parties. Organizations affiliated with the Brotherhood have recruited and trained chaplains for American prisons and the American military. Brotherhood organizations operate on nearly every college campus in the United States and have regularly recruited young American Muslims and led them to commit acts of terrorist violence.
That's all very important. All of that is very important.
In short, the issue of the U.S. Muslim Brotherhood is not merely a counterterrorism issue, but it is also a systemic counterintelligence challenge. And even more broadly, it is a challenge to the fabric of the United States and its ability to seek assimilation and social cohesion. In the HLF case, the United States government achieved an unparalleled intelligence coup, and yet almost none of this information was put to substantive further use. HLF would be the last domestic Muslim Brotherhood charity designated by the U.S. Treasury Department. There were no further prosecutions for material support. It was the equivalent of cracking the Enigma code in 1939 and then never decoding another Nazi message. In 2008, the U.S. government had in its possession the name and rank of most leading Muslim.
Look, to me, that's criminal negligence on whoever was in charge of the agency and did not act on that information. That's what it is to me, criminal negligence. If you have all the information, you cracked the case and you didn't start arresting people, what the fuck are you doing? You're a traitor.
Brotherhood figures in the United States. I would encourage the senators to demand, in an appropriate classified setting, that U.S. intelligence deliver the same levels of insight into Brotherhood operations today. The federal government's disinterest in the challenge of the Muslim Brotherhood has largely been answered by private efforts at the local and state level. These have included educational efforts, but also legislative and judicial responses. More than half a dozen state legislatures have passed resolutions condemning CARE. 2 states, Florida and Texas, have publicly declared the group a terrorist organization. Some state attorneys general are currently pursuing investigations into Brotherhood-linked entities. There have been efforts in federal court to enforce federal court judgments against elements of the Palestine Committee, as well as lawsuits seeking to expose the role of foreign funding in CARE. Unfortunately, in multiple cases, as was already outlined, Brotherhood affiliates have successfully utilized lawfare to avoid complying with discovery. Critics will claim that the data derived from the HLF case and related cases are decades old. This is true, but it's also misleading. When studying clandestine networks, one must realize that they are established over many decades as trained cadre move through positions of trust in the network's various fronts. Such individuals are not easily replaced, and they will regularly reappear. A historic snapshot of such a network and the players in it, far from being irrelevant, is a crucial piece of the puzzle, prized by both intelligence practitioners and historians. In conclusion, it is those who insist that the Brotherhood is a leopard who has somehow changed its spots who should be the ones required to meet the burden of proof, because the U.S. government has already proved beyond a reasonable doubt what the Muslim Brotherhood is.
Thank you. Thank you to each.
I think that pretty much sums it up. I wanted to get their initial statements out. I think this is a very important thing to have out there. I think everyone should basically see this and know about this, because this is a very, very important infiltration of enemy actors within our political system, within our legal system, doing illegal activities. And I want everybody to know about this. I might chop this I don't usually do it, but I might chop up this particular section and call it basically Senate hearings on the Muslim Brotherhood. So we can just, care and all that shit gets discussed. And we're going to go. It's 11, so it's time to go. But I wanted you guys to see this. I think it's important work that we're doing here. And I'm sorry that I haven't been able to be here every night. I'm fighting the fight to get monetized. That's still an important thing that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not getting monetized. I had some leads. They kind of led me to the wrong place. I think I know what the problem is now, and I'm working to fix it. But I'm going to post my link here in case you guys want to follow me, hear more from me. I'm going to keep doing this every night. I realized that the time zone where I'm at is not particularly appealing to most of the Liberty Politics regular subscribers. So I'm trying to build my own, steady stream of people that in their time zone or for their particular lifestyle, I am available to them. I hope more people like that join. And I'm, talk to me. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve you. I'm a little aggressive. I'm going to be myself, but I hope you understand my intention here is to expose these fucking bastards. All right. And with that, guys, I'm off. But before I go, I want to tell you guys, bless you all. Bless your health. Bless your wealth. Bless your plans. Bless your homes. Bless your families, your loved ones, and everything you touch. Peace.